Teaser is one of our classical mat Pilates exercises that we can also do on the reformer, and is really focused on core strength and torso stability, as well as hip flexion, hip flexor strength, and just overall balance of the body. For our spring setup for a teaser, typically you're not going to be on more than one spring. There are occasions where especially if someone's in a bigger body and has a little bit more weight, that them having heavier spring can be helpful for them to get up. But if we go too heavy, it's kind of pulling you back down as we're trying to come up. So it's a fine balance for everyone as far as what spring's going to feel good. I typically like either a red or a blue, and frequently in a class we'll start with one and tell people if you feel like you need a little extra support, more to push into, go to a red. If you started with the red and feel like that's throwing you off balance, try the blue, and you can just kind of tinker until you find what's right for the clients. For our teaser setup, we're gonna grab your straps off of the shoulder blocks and then lay down on your back on the carriage. So we wanna make sure straps are uncrossed, hands come into the small loops, and you scooch off of the box enough that the upper back, kind of to the tips of the shoulder blades, can lay back off of the box. And I'm going to start with our variation with knees and tabletop. So from here, we're in our neutral spine. Upper back is extended backwards. We exhale, start to press forward through the arms, extending up through the chest and the legs at the same time to lift up, continuing to push forward into the straps, and then lower back down with control, with straight legs, and then we can do the same from the straight leg position. So pressing up, lifting into that nice V, open chest, and then slowly roll down. For common problems, we've got a couple different things that tend to happen, and for demonstration purposes, I'm leaving the straps down, but you can just imagine that those are in my hands. So one thing with teaser is just that teaser is really hard. And so sometimes people can't quite figure out the timing and just where to position their body in order to get up. And a great option to help them through that and help them find that is just to start upright. So we can actually come onto the carriage and either have the feet on the foot bar, or if they've got space here, right, where they can kind of practice pushing forward into the straps, maybe rolling down a little ways, rolling back up into that position. And then you can start to increase from there. So we can come back forward. We can start just with a balance with the knees and tabletop. And then maybe they start to roll down and roll back up. So you can just start to break down the components of teaser similarly to how you would do on the mat and lead people into it that way. Another thing that sometimes happens is people will either try to use too much momentum or can't quite figure out the timing for their own body so that they can get up. So what you'll see is that you either get people that are really like hoisting themselves up, and what's going to happen there is that strap's going to lose that tension for a minute and the carriage is going to come crashing in, which feels very scary when you're up on the box. So make sure that you're cueing people to move nice and slow. Secondly is a lot of times you'll see people just kind of get stuck right here and they can't get themselves up. And it's a different timing for everyone, but they've got to figure out their lever point of when the legs are reaching outwards, because that outward reach is going to help roll them up. Otherwise, if they're just leaving their legs here and trying to lift up to their legs, you've constantly got pressure kicking them back when they're trying to roll up. So sometimes just coming to grab people's feet and helping them reach in that direction is going to help them get the rest of the way up.